bow and go. I know this is our tradition. It's only an opportunity also to give the nominee another age. Before the nominee takes a bow and take his leave, I would like to make a simple comment. By the grace of God, all of us who served from the 6th Senate served with Senator George Akume, the former governor of Benue State. And at one time, he was the minority leader of the minority parties, ACN, APP, ABGA, and so on. No, there was no ABGA then, maybe. I want to say this. The country benefits, the citizens benefit when the two arms of government, particularly the legislature and the executive, work together. A relationship based on mutual respect, consultation, and cooperation. The nominee, a gentleman to the core, we expect that when you eventually become a minister, you will lead the vanguard of those who pass through this National Assembly to create and sustain a decent, operational, and respectable relationship between the two arms of government. We are in haste, we are in a hurry to deliver, but it takes the two arms to deliver. With these remarks, I want to thank my colleagues for their contributions, even though it went in one direction, and that was not unexpected, and we wish you the best in your next endeavor. You can take a bow. Distinguished colleagues, we have before us distinguished Senator George Akume, a senator in this chamber, a minority leader, and of course, former governor of Benue State. Senator Akume, you are welcome. We have received copies of your CV, but you are at liberty to emphasize on some of these things in your CV, or those things that are not in, but are so relevant, germane, and important that the Senate needs to know and you wish to share with the Senate. You are welcome once again, and you can make your remarks.
Mr. President, worthy and distinguished colleagues, distinguished senators, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I want to thank you so very much, my distinguished colleagues, for giving me this opportunity to stand before you. I say this with all sense of humility and responsibility. In the past, I used to sit amongst you to screen nominees. Today, I have this to appear before you, to bow before my colleagues in tandem with the tradition and values of these hallowed chambers. Mr. President, from my CV you could see that my journey in life started in 1953. And I'm where I am because society has also been very supportive of me. God has always been on my side. I love the Senate. I respect the Senate. This Senate represents not only the fulcrum of our democratic institutions. This Senate has done things in the past that we are very, very proud of. At a critical time when there was a near constitutional crisis, this Senate came up with a doctrine of necessity. And that served the situation. I don't think there is anything that this Senate cannot do to support and to sustain the territorial integrity of our country. I'm very proud of you, and I will continue to be proud of this Senate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Northwest. Mr. Chairman, distinguished Senator Akume is before you. As the CV indicates, he has spent 40 years in the public service. Nearly 20 years in the civil service and 20 years plus in politics.
Allow him now to talk.
Sorry, which order, please? The Senate does not know conventional point of order. Senator Emmanuel Okejeff.
So, like you mentioned, 8 years as governor and 12 years on the floor of this Senate, rising to be the minority leader. My colleagues and I, the Benue Caucus, have met and mandated me to request, in tandem with the tradition of this Senate, to ask distinguished Senator Akume to take a bow and go. Thank
you. Distinguished colleagues, we have all heard what Senator Emmanuel Okejeff said. But I want to ask the leave of Benue Caucus to please allow 2 more senators to ask questions, or if they have comments to make, they will do so. And then I will round up. And let me also remind us, it's our tradition here to give this privilege, this concession to senators, people who served in this chamber or in the House of Representatives, or indeed in the State House of Assembly. This tradition will continue despite the fact that some people don't understand it, which we need to continue to educate them. But I still believe that Senator Danjuma Goje may like to ask a question, Senator Ope, me, and then finally Senator Kabirga, and then I will round up.
I know the nominee very well. For the last 20 years, we have been politically together. He has been very active as a two-time governor of Benue State and three-time member of this hallowed chamber. So I would like to join the Benue caucus by calling on this hallowed chamber to ask him to take a bow and go away. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to my leader. He was the leader of minority when I was the deputy whip of minority, and he served as a senator for 3 terms and a former governor. And I knew him when late Reverend Adasu was his governor. He was my colleague. So I will appeal to the chair and the president sitting in chair to let our brother and friend bow and go. Thank you, sir.
Yomo Agege, Delta Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rose for only one purpose: to ensure that that tradition of that convention be respected in perpetuity, so that no question here other than take a bow and go that has been propagated by a few of our colleagues is maintained. I rise to support that he should be asked to take a bow and go, given his length of service in these chambers. Thank you, Mr. President.
We are considering the nomination of Amechi. So I wanted to ask him a question. You know, what would he have done if Senator Abaribe were to ask the minority to move out? So, Mr. President, I share that sentiment, well taken sentiment, and I don't want Senator Akpabio to answer that question. I don't want to answer that question, but just to recall hilariously what happened at that time. I think the President had made a very good choice, and I know the uncommon touch that Senator Akpabio brought to this Senate is going to be extended to the executive arm of government. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That was before the uncommon defection.
Before the uncommon defection.
Thank you very much.